This is the only makeup tutorial you will ever need as a beginner. This is the only makeup tutorial you ever need as a beginner. If you're someone who has been struggling to get her makeup done on her face for years, lucky you. You found me. Hi guys, I'm Belian, not Belian, not Belayen, not Belayen. Nice to meet you, and this is our first official YouTube video. First things first, before you even try to apply foundation on your face, you need to first of all clean and apply your skin prep. Your skin prep is very important. It will help you create an hydrated base and help your makeup wear throughout the day. As a beginner, you don't need too much. All you need to clean your face is your makeup wipes or micellar water and cotton pad. I love to use the micellar water and cotton pad because it cleanses the pores deeply. Go ahead to clean my face with it. This also helps you to remove residue from past makeup, past skincare. Now that we have a clean canvas and we've stripped our face off all of that residue and excess oil, we're going to be needing an hydrating spray. One thing I'm going to advise that you get, this will help you speed up your skin prep process. You just dry as you go. Now we need to hydrate. As a beginner, you don't need too much for your skin prep. You just need two things: moisturizer and primer. That's all. One important thing that I want you to note down is that every of your skin prep must dry down almost completely before you move to the next step. This is why sometimes you end up with patchy makeup or you see that your makeup is lifting. This is basically because you do not let your skin prep dry down or your skin absorb the skin prep completely before moving to the next step. She gets me. I'm using the Cosrx Advanced Nail All-in-One Cream as my moisturizer today. It's really hydrating, and you can use this whether you have dry, oily, or combination skin. I'll go ahead to apply my moisturizer generously on my face. I'll advise that if you want your makeup to be dewy and not too much, you might want to go in generously with your moisturizer. You'll notice that I'm focusing my moisturizer under the eyes, and this is because that is one part of the face that doesn't produce moisture. Remember, it's time to use the mini fan. Now that I'm done drying down my moisturizer and my face no longer looks or feel wet, it might feel a little damp, but it's very important that your face isn't feeling or looking wet. The next step will be to go in with the primer. I have oily skin, so I'm going to be using the One Size Oil Sucker Primer. This primer is very good for oily skin. If you have dry skin, you can just use the Health Grip Primer. For this primer, you need to shake it first because of its formula. I'll just go ahead to apply a pea size of the primer. This much is enough. You can either use your index finger or a fluffy brush. We're going to be using a fluffy brush in this video. We take a little of the primer and work it into your T-zones or any part of your face that produces oil. I'm going to put this on my brows as well as my forehead. I don't need too much of the primer. I'm just going to blend whatever is left on my T-zones. The way your T-zones is here and here. Your forehead, your nose, your cupid bow, and your chin. And now I'm done with my skin prep. You see that my face looks hydrated yet matte on the areas of my face that produce excess oil. I'm using the Haus foundation. To get my exact foundation shade, I'm going to be mixing the Haus foundations in the shade 540 and 460. I always advise that you start with just one pump of your foundation. You can always add more as you. I'm going to be using this foundation brush from GLAM Cosmetics to apply my foundation. Always start your foundation application from your jawline. When choosing your foundation shade, it's very important that it doesn't just match your skin tone, but that it also matches your undertone. This and more is what you'll find in our ebook, Mastering DIY Makeup. The link to purchase the ebook will be in the caption. Taking a little now, I start from my jawline. Like this, I'm also able to test the shade. If it's too dark, I'm going to apply the lighter one, and if it's too light, I can just apply more of the darker one. You want to make your foundation application as close to your skin tone as possible. That's how you get this clean girl finish. That's what we're trying to achieve. So I'm not just placing the foundation on my skin, I'm also trying to blend with the brush as I go. You don't need too much foundation, trust me. You need just enough. I'm using the Taller Bangs Beauty Sponge. This is super soft and it makes your foundation application very seamless. Before you go ahead to use your beauty sponge to blend in your foundation, you need to know the beauty blender rule. If you take a clean beauty blender and try to use it to blend your foundation, you're going to be taking products from your face to the beauty sponge. So what we're going to do is apply a little amount of foundation for the beauty blender, and then we go ahead to blend. This way, the beauty blender does only one job, which is to blend your foundation without having to take products away from your skin. Try to hold it as far as possible from the tip. If you have dry skin, I'll advise that at this phase, spray an hydrating spray on your face. However, I have oily skin, so I'm going to skip that process. I'm going to be using this Curve Case palette to contour. It has very creamy contour and blush shades that I love so much. However, if you don't have this, you can just stick to using a darker shade of foundation. Contour the perimeters of your face. I would advise that you use 2 shades darker, and then to contour your nose, you can go 1 shade darker. You don't want to make your contour too dark or too harsh. I'm going to be using this shade, which I think suits the 2 shades darker for my skin tone. I'm just going to go in with my foundation brush again. So I'm going to take the product and apply it on my contour line. To find the contour line on your face, just trace the middle of your ear downward. And then if it's not visible enough, you don't have structured cheekbones, you could just apply it like I said. You also want to blend this upwards because you don't want your face to be saggy. Whatever is left on my brush now, I'm just going to apply on my forehead and blend it into my hair. Like I said, you don't want your contour to be too harsh. I'm blending upwards because I don't want my face saggy. Now, it's very important that you understand that you need to blend as much as you can. This is the only difference between professionally done makeup and regular makeup. Blend as much as you can. You'd see that I'm not just placing the product with my brush, I'm also trying to blend in with the brush even before going in with the beauty blender. Now that I'm done using the brush, I'm just going to tap in with the beauty blender. The next step is to use your cream blush, and I'm going in with the e.l.t. one. You can also use a blush palette or a lip palette for this if you don't have the e.l.t. one. Like 2 dots on the highest point of my cheeks. I'm blending this as high as possible. This is the Too Faced concealer in the shade Chai. Such a versatile concealer shade for my brown girlies. One mistake I see a lot of beginners make is applying too much concealers under the eyes. Trust me, 1 drop of concealer is enough for 1 under eye. Don't do too much. My concealer is almost out, and this is why it seems like I'm doing more than 1 tap. However, 1 tap is enough. You want to apply your concealer as close as possible to your waterline. Now that my concealer has been applied, I'm going to cream contour my nose. I'm just going to start from the beginning of my brows down to the bridge of my nose. Remember, for your nose, you want to go in 1 shade darker. After applying your concealer, you want to leave it for a few seconds to dry down. This helps your concealer to get tacky and gives it more coverage. Now, this is exactly how you need to blend your concealer. You're going to start by blending the outer parts of your under eye while leaving the inner part of the under eye, and you go ahead to blend every other part that you've applied the concealer before blending the inner part of the under eye. Don't get confused, just watch me. It's always important that you have your setting powder very close to you so that you can just apply it immediately you blend the inner corner of the under eye. To help you avoid having crease lines under your eyes. Outer corner first. While leaving the inner corner, I'm going to go ahead to blend my chin, blend my cupid bow, that's the upper part of my lip, blend my nose, and my forehead. Now at this point, if you'd like to brighten your under eye, you could just go in with one tap of a brighter concealer. I don't want to do that, so I'm going to skip that. Blend in the inner corner of my eye by doing gentle taps so that I don't lose my concealer. You'll notice that the coverage of the concealer is more at this time. Now that I'm done blending in my concealer, I don't want to waste too much time, because for every time that I look down, I'm creating crease lines under the eyes. So line the under eye again, try to look up, take the setting powder and tap it into my skin before tapping into the under eye. I'll take whatever is left on the skin and blend it in the under eye. I'll do the same thing at the other side. Tap into your skin. You want to do this as fast as you can. And tap into the under eye. I'm going to also blend every other part of my face that I've applied concealer previously. After doing this, the next step would be to apply your under eye powder, and this is any powder that is 1 to 2 shades lighter than your entire face. For this, I'm using the Fenty powder in the shade 450. Go in with the powder puff, tap 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 on the powder, working the excess into your skin first and then tap on the under eye. This helps you to build coverage on the under eye so that your under eye doesn't crease with time. Take whatever is left, do it on the other side first before you take home. And if you like your makeup, if you like your under eyes brighter, you want to go in with a shade or 2 shades brighter than I'm using. The next step would be to apply your powder contour. This one is from GLAM Beauty and it's a bronzer palette. I like how it adds warmth to the perimeters of your face. So yeah, don't have this, you can always just use your powder palette or a darker or 2 shades darker powder. You need to powder everywhere that you cream. For everywhere that we cream, we powder. I'm going to be taking the shade 2 shades darker than myself. I'm using these 2 shades and I'm just going to apply that on the places that I've applied the cream contour. So this is to set the wetness of the cream. Work it into your hair like we did the first time. If you can't find your contour line, remember to just trace the middle of your hair. At this point, I'm also going to go in with the powder contour on my nose. It's the best brush for powder contour if you ask me. It's from ETR Cosmetics. It's a soft and fluffy brush. 1 shade darker for my nose contour. Work this into my skin so that it's not too much. I'll just trace the nose contour exactly how I did. I don't like my nose contour too sharp, so just softly and I'm good. Next step would be to use a full face powder all over my face to marry the powder and the contour and everything all together so that we don't see where you finished your contour and where you started your blush from. We want oneness in our makeup. I'm going to be using the Sephora powder. This is in the shade Almond. I'm just going to apply this all over my face. I'm using this powder brush from ETR Cosmetics. I love it so much. So gentle taps on the powder and then just blend all around. You don't need to do too much with this one. We just want oneness, that's all. Also, if your contour or your blush is ever too ash, this would help you smoothen it out. Now that we're done applying our full face powder, I'm going to spray with an hydrating spray. What this will do is to break down the over cakiness and the over powderiness of your makeup. Remember, use your mini fan. If you fall follow this process step by step, this is how good your skin work would look. And if you decide not to continue doing your makeup after this, you're still good to go. As a beginner, you don't need too much eyeshadow. Hear me out. You don't need too much eyeshadow. Today, I'm going to be showing you how to do the easiest, quickest eyeshadow. Now that we've sprayed and dried down our face and removed all of that excess powder, we're going to bake our under eye. This is basically for two main reasons. If you ever have fallouts from your eyeshadow on your face, you can just dust off from the setting powder on your face. Or if your face is too bland and you'd like to brighten, this is the time. Baking would help you brighten your face a little. Please don't forget to work in your setting powder into your skin before you place. Doing this will help you cut down on applying too much product on your skin, and then you have to struggle to blend. So I'm going to create a straight line on my nose and apply the excess on my under eye. So now if you want that Instagram facelift, you just want to go straight from the outer corner of your eyes. Remember, straight line from the nose, from the contour, from the side of the contour, and then straight line after the outer corner. You'll notice that I'm not blending too much because my intention is not to blend the setting powder yet. I want excess on my under eye so I can dust off the fallouts like I mentioned. Now that I've done this, I'll just go back in with the powder contour brush that I used just to remove the excess setting powders from my contour space. To do a quick, easy and simple eyeshadow look as a beginner, all you need are two things: your cream contour and your brown eyeshadow. I'm just going to take the exact same shade and apply it on my eyelid. I'm going to ensure that this stays on my eyelid and doesn't move above the lid to the crease area. And now I'm going to take the second brush to blend the cream contour I applied on my eyelid. If you do not have your powder eyeshadow, please just use your bronzer or whatever contour powder that you used on your face. This eyeshadow is from BOJ Cosmetics. It's super pigmented. It has amazing shades of browns. I'm going to take a brown shade, just any one. You can go as dark or as light as you'd like. I'll take and dust off the excess by the side of the eyeshadow case. I'm not going to be blending this in the sweeping motion. I'm just going to tap, 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 keeping the focus on my eyelid, not on the crease. I've applied the most of the eyeshadow from the brush on my eyelid. I'm just going to take whatever is left there and blend it on my crease. This way I don't have color on the crease. It's like a transition shade. It goes from softer to darker. You get what I mean? Because I'm using a brown shade, I'm just going to use whatever is left on the brush after doing all of that to intensify my nose contour. You can skip this part. Go in with the under eyeliner. You can either decide to use your eyeshadow or your gel liner for this. I'm using the one from ETR Cosmetics, and then apply under my eye. I'll just take a stiff brush and then blend whatever is left from the eyeliner by the outer corner into the eyeshadow so that I can have smooth edges and then create an illusion of a facelift. To do your brows, you'd need a spoolie or a mascara wand. You want to take the wand to brush up your brows. Here's the tea. Sharpen your pencil as many times as you need to keep your pencil sharp. This is the only way that you're going to have your brows snatched. Hear me out. Sharpen the pencil. Do not mind if you have to waste it. Sharpen as many times as you need. This is how sharp your pencil needs to be throughout. If your pencil ever gets blunt, please sharpen and trace your exact brow shape. You're going to hold your pencil like you want to draw. Please don't hold your pencil by the tip. hold it as far as possible, like you're holding a painting brush. You get me? So I'll start from the middle of the brows and try to draw a straight line. Another important thing to note is to do every step on each brow as you go. That way you get to have more even brows. So brush up, start from the middle and try to create a straight line to the end. So now that we have done this, we have two identical straight lines on both brows. Now we're going to brush up yet again. We have to ensure that our brow pencil is as sharp as possible. Is it no? Then we're going to sharpen. Sharp. Sharp. Now we're going to draw the same line above the brows, not adding to the brows. We're following the brow shape and size. We're just tracing whatever it is that we can see there. Now that we have drawn lines under and above the brows, what is left for us to do is to fill in the gap. So anywhere that we do not see hair, we just fill in an illusion of hair strokes. This is how to keep your brows as soft and as clean as possible without doing too much. You'll notice that throughout this brow tutorial, I've not shaded in any way. Please don't shade. The easiest way to shade is by using a blunt pencil. We don't want that to. I'm going to draw hairline strokes in front of the brows. Take my mascara wand or my spoolie again to brush upwards. Trust me, I always tell my students this: if you have a clean brow bone, brows are as good as concealed. You just need your brow bone to be clean. If you're able to trace your natural brow line, you almost do not need to conceal your brow. To conceal my brows, I'm going to be using the exact shade of foundation I used on my face, and I'm using this concealer brush from CPD Cosmetics. Take some of that foundation, work it into the brush so that I don't apply too much on my face. And then I'm going to only conceal exactly how I drew the brow. I'm also going to only conceal the under eye, that's the brow bone. Take a blending brush and just blend the concealer to the skin. Remember when I told you that everywhere we cream we powder? Now that I've used foundation to conceal my brow, I'm going to use a powder to set it. I'll use this shade from my bronzing palette to set the foundation in. Now that we're done with the brows and eyes, I'm going to finish up with my skin work. The Annie's Beauty blush. I always like to start with a deeper shade. I'm going to start with the orange. Remember to dust off the excess from the side of the case. And then I'm going to place this on the highest point of my cheeks. You can use whatever is left from your brush to add extra warmth to your bronzer. I'm going to use a soft pink to diffuse that. I'm going to use these shades. Dust off the excess and place directly on the base brush. Now I'm going to be pressing in my setting powder that I used to bake my face, so I can have a brighter under eye. However, if you feel like your setting powder is too much and you don't want your under eye bright, you can just dust off. I like this, however, I want my under eye brighter, so I'm going to use the Tilbury powder. This is in the shade 3 times. Remember to always work it into your skin so that you don't apply too much on your face. To line my lips, I'm going to be using the Morphe pencil. If you like to go over your lip line, that's to outline your lips, you can do that. However, I don't really like that, so I'm just going to be sticking to the shape of my lip. And for lipstick, I'm just going to use the Carenza Beauty palette. This has a whole lot of shades. I always like to mix and match my nudes to like get like a custom shade. I'm going to use gloss on my lips. This one is from ETR Cosmetics in the shade Forever. The next step would be to spray your entire face. Depending on how dewy you like your makeup to be, you can layer your setting sprays. You could spray this, hold on for a little while, and then spray again if you feel like your makeup is still too powdery. However, this is just fine for me. For my ladies that love their makeup skin like, you need this dew balm from Cosmetics. This is the translucent shade. And all you need to do is to take your beauty sponge. I'm going to be using the part of the beauty sponge I used to apply the cream blush, so I don't lose my blush. And then press this on the dew balm. Don't forget to work it into your skin first and apply this on the areas of your face that you would like to look more skin-like. I'm going to be applying this on the highest point of my cheek. A little on my nose and on my forehead. This just helps your makeup to sink into your skin more. Next, I'm going to be using the One Size Setting Spray to seal my makeup and to lock all of this goodness in. After doing this, I'm going to be using my mascara, and if you want lashes on this makeup, you can go ahead to apply that now. I'm using this mascara from Zaron Cosmetics. You want to be careful so as not to stain your eyes. I like to do this after spraying so that when you spray, your mascara doesn't smudge. At this point, if you'd like your eyes to pop a little more, all you need to do is to put a dot of shine. I'm going to be using highlighter for this. I'm going to take my dot of shine and then put this in the inner corner of my eyes. And just like that, we've created a beginner's friendly, absolutely stunning makeup look. Let me know what you think in the comments. See you on my next video. Bye.